All right, third time's a charm. I barely played a hand, bitched and whined the whole time, and then when he does sit down, he gets lucky on me twice. But I wanted to make sure that I played this hand correctly. So what we're gonna do is look at this hand. I had King 10, um, King 10 offsuit, King 10 suited. Let's see, I'm down here. King 10 off actually. I bet. He calls on a King 10 6 board. Nothing too exciting there. Turn was an offsuit, nothing. I'm still betting here 100%. And it says use a smaller sizing. I'd like to use a bigger sizing a lot of times on the turn, but I guess it is what it is. It says, I don't know. I don't know. I guess it likes the smaller sizing, but I prefer to bet up a little bit, especially on a big draw heavy board like this. You get gut shots calling, you get flush draws, straight draws calling you. There's a lot that'll call you. So if they're calling with a lot of things, then I'm betting bigger. So I bet a little bigger here. He ends up calling. The river was an offsuit jack. So I brought in the straight ace queen. Either that or it was a queen, and he had ace. Either way, the gut shot came in. And I felt like this was a bet all day and all along. So for value, we can still get called by worse here with King 10. Yes, he could have King Jack, but I think this is a bet. It says here to go ahead and bet 70% pot, which is actually what I had done. Actually, I think I jammed for a little more than that, which was a mistake. I should probably bet more along the lines of 60%, 70% pot. So that is fine. And then bottom line is if you get raised, then you can just fold, right? You can just easily just fold. It does have some calls, some partial calls like King Jack and stuff, but people are not raising with, I mean, I don't know. You can call, I guess, but King 10 is definitely a fold. So my only mistake here was jamming on the river. I thought I had a pot size bet left, but I did put in the correct effective stacks. I did have 600 behind. So effective stacks you put in here. So apparently I had a little more behind than I thought. So what I should have done is bet half pot, maybe a little over half pot, and then fold to a jam. That would have been smarter than to just put it in. I thought I had a pot size bet left, but I think this is right. I think I did have a little more behind. So I don't know if I had that much more behind, but either way, bet fold is the right strategy here. And of course, if I turn around, so betting was correct by me. I shouldn't have bet so much. I should have bet half pot or so and then just bet folding. Um, and of course, if the river is a spade and where that comes in, it's 100% check. I had bet. Well, like I said, it was offsuit jack, not a spade. So, but it's a check. And then if he goes, I shouldn't pair the board. I should pick a different spade. So, because the board didn't pair, I should just check. And then let's say he bets big. Um, then it says here, King 10 off is 60% of the time a fold, which, yeah, that's what I would do. It says here, well, no, that's just your entire range. My bad. So King 10 off, it says to raise or call. And I think that's just suicidal. That's just dumb. Um, I would never do this in a live game. I guess that's turning hands into a bluff if you have like here, if you had King 10 off, if you had the 10 of spades in your hand, that's no. The raising is the absolute worst thing you can do. It does say to call a lot. Believe it or not, it doesn't say to fold at all. But depending on the villain, I would probably just fold here. So, and that's probably assuming, though, if they're saying call, that when he's betting on the turn here, let's go check. And now it's on his and well, I checked and it's on him, the villain, when the spade comes in. It's probably assuming some things. Let's go here. We go strategy like node. And then let's see what hands he's betting with. Um, he's betting a lot of hands. So he's betting non-spades. It says he's betting stuff like ace eight of hearts, ace seven of hearts. Mm, he's never betting any of these hands. If I just make some changes here. Bear with me 1 second. So this was a challenge. Basically, what I found out is that I put a three of spades on the board and we checked, and sometimes it said something silly like the check raise or something with different hands. Well, the reason why is because the original strategy said that all kinds of silly hands like ace five of hearts, ace three of hearts, all these hands were supposed to be bet as a bluff. Like nobody's doing that. Nobody's turning when the flush comes in, they're not turning ace three of hearts into a bluff, ace four of hearts into a bluff. But it says that that's what people do, which is why you would check raise something like king 10 with the 10 of spades. But that's not realistic. So that's why you got to do a lot of node locking, and this can get really tricky and not easy to figure out. So I figured out finally how to node lock it so that our villain obviously bets the flushes when he gets there, but he's not betting ace three of hearts, ace four of hearts, any silly hands like that. And if you node lock it to that, if you check when he bets, boom, we're just folding. You see all the blue, we're just folding. King 10, king, we're folding. So that makes more sense, right? I did say that the villain sometimes would bet with straights, which is why you got a couple of little calls in here, maybe. But for the most part, you're folding when that three of spades comes in. So it's important to unlock. It gets really tricky. I had to go in here and figure out how to select the range. And basically, the easiest way to do this is go into Range Explorer, and you have to clear everything out. Say select none, and then just go in here and select everything. Like say, okay, all these hands, like low pair, third pair, nothing. I set to he's just checking back. And then I left flush and straight alone, and because they're obviously betting flushes and some straights. So um, and then that by node locking there um, will give you the more you play with this, the more you learn how to do stuff. This isn't real easy stuff to use, honestly. But you have to node lock because people are not turning ace eight of hearts into a bluff. They're just not. So if you do that, then you'll find out that the correct answer here is to fold if somebody turns around and bets. So check folding is fine when the flush comes in. And since I had node locked that, let's say we go ahead and put the jack of diamonds in here. Still says to bet, which makes sense. So we bet. And then, of course, if we get raised, we just fold as well. So there we go. Hopefully you learned something. I learned a little bit about this software, but hopefully y'all learned something too.